Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. What's on review today? Street Fighter 6. Watcha! Street Fighter 6 is a 2023 fighting game developed and published by Capcom. It is the seventh main entry in the Street Fighter franchise, even though it's called number 6. It was released June 2nd of this year on pretty much everything: PlayStation 4, 5, Series X, S, X, Y, Z, the arcade, Microsoft Windows. It is developed by Capcom. It is just a fighting game. If you played Street Fighter 5, it's more. It's a lot more. So let's jump into this. Street Fighter 6 is it's definitely a beast. I didn't play 5 because 5 was an exclusive to PlayStation. I get angry when exclusives are bought up like that, and I did a little, pity me protest on it. So I didn't play 5, but I am playing 6, and I'll give you my opinion in a minute. But let's jump over here to Zangief's stunt double, Nick, and find out his take on it. Nick, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I didn't play. I played a little bit of 5. It was a PS or PlayStation exclusive. It is on Steam as well, so you can play it on PC.
Yeah, true.
I think it came out later on that when they came out with the special edition version or whatever. But yeah, it was on PlayStation for quite a long time. Well, forever, really, because it never went to anything else besides PC, which I think was a bad move probably a good move at the time, because I'm sure Sony paid a pretty good price for that at the time, but probably a bad idea for Capcom at the time, because Capcom's always multi-platform, and I think they would have got more people, not to say that 5 wasn't popular, but I think they would have got more people into it if it was out on everything, right? But it wasn't, so it is what it is. But for 6, 6 is out on everything. But yes, this game is really good. If you like Street Fighter, it's just more of that. It's more Street Fighter. But they do add, several different, a lot more different features and stuff. Because I think 5 had just kind of like, like an arcade mode, like the versus mode, the online fighting mode, and that was pretty much the gist of it. Whereas 6 has, you have a world tour mode, which is a kind of its own, like, create an avatar, level them up, kind of an RPG aspect in the Fatal Fury, or Final Fight, sorry, 2 different games, the Final Fight universe. So you're in there and you're fighting against the Mad Gear, and and it's really cool. It's almost like they made Final Fight, what is it, 4, in Street Fighter 6. I think it's the 4th one. I don't know. Someone can look that up and verify that. But it's almost like they did that, because you're playing in the Final Fight universe, right? Every character and kind of the way that the city is set up there is kind of looks like how the main city in Final Fight is, or what is it, New York or whatever in Final Fight, I believe. But it's all kind of set up that same way. So it's kind of cool. They put kind of Final Fight inside of this in Street Fighter 6 in this mode, this world tour mode. But in that mode, like I said, you get to create a character, and then you follow the storyline where you fight people, you fight against the Mad Gear, you level your character up, you can basically take over, or kind of you can mix and match skills from other fighters, but you have to unlock those. So as you progress in the game, you start out with Luke, which is a new character for Street Fighter 6 is Luke. We were talking about Final Fantasy before this, so sorry about that. For Luke, he's a new character in this one, which Luke kind of reminds me of Ken and Ryu. It's kind of that same character in a sense. But you start out with them, and then you get Chun-Li, and then it continues from there, and you unlock more and more. And you can use their styles, and you can also, as you unlock things, you can mix and match moves from different fighters. And then what's cool is you can go to the Battle Hub, the Battle Hub is like the online hub where you can sit and play and spectate and watch other people fight and participate and fight yourself. And what's neat about that is you can go to the little arcades that are in there where you basically play Street Fighter 6 and fight other people or spectate or whatever. But if you go into the center of the ring, you can do an avatar fight where the avatar you're playing as and you've leveled up through the world mode, you can fight someone else's avatar in the center. So it's a really cool idea with the whole avatar system, kind of taking it a step further with that outside of the world tour mode, because even in the Battle Hub, you are that avatar that you created in the world tour mode. And then they have the normal arcade mode, right? So this mode is where you get your verses. You can play the arcade, which do have stories. They're like little comic book cutout, panels that but they're voiced. That you get to kind of watch, and then you fight some characters, and then there's an ending panel, and that's about it. But you unlock stuff, artwork, and things like that if you beat these, and then you can listen to the small story about X, Y, and Z. But I think the main focus for the game, besides those modes, besides the arcade mode and the versus mode and the fighting mode, is now their world tour mode. I think that's the biggest thing that Capcom wants to spotlight with this game. So, but all in all, it's a really cool. They have a nice collection of characters to choose from, some classics, some new ones. They all do really well. And, the game's, it's got good for old school Street Fighter people as well as new school. They have different controller methods. One's for actually doing the combos and stuff like that by doing the down, forward, and button presses and things of that nature. And for those who are not good at fighting games or don't typically play fighting games, they also have the modern mode, which is basically, tap punch over and over and it'll do a combo, and this button's assigned to this special move and that button's assigned to that special move, and you just hit them and it does it, right? So you can play however you want to, which is fun. It's fun. And for me, I found myself kind of mixing, matching, kind of going back and forth. Sometimes if I just wanted to lay back and fight some CPU characters and stuff, I might go to modern mode and just go back and beat them up and stuff. But if I wanted to kind of learn move sets and things like that, then I would switch it over to classic and kind of learn the old style way of fighting, because that's what I prefer. That's how we grew up, so that's what we're used to. But it's nice to have different options. So yeah, I think this game's really good. Graphically it looks good, it plays well. So I think overall it's a really good Street Fighter. What do you think, Shane?
Couldn't disagree with any of that. I'm not the biggest fighting game fan, but I do enjoy playing fighting games. I am, and probably always will be, more Tekken and DOA, but I still enjoy playing Street Fighter. Always have. I mean, it's a staple of my gaming childhood. So, it's been around forever and a day. So, no, I agree with everything you said. The little story modes you get in the arcade for each character is kind of neat. They are partially voice acted. The art style they use, I actually like better than the art style that they use in the game. The character designs. Me and Nick have talked about this a few times now about the character designs. The character designs are, for me, the weakest link of this game. And it's not like a belittling thing. It's just an opinion thing. So please take that with a grain of salt. Some of the characters are just way too over the top designed. So for instance, Chun-Li, her thighs in the game are bigger than Zangief himself. All the characters have a really just massive body part. You can put that in your mind somewhere in this game. A few of them have, more of a normal, I want to say normal, but Street Fighter normal character design. Some of them are just so over the top. I kind of don't like it in some ways. For instance, Ryu is well, he's kind of like the Chris Redfield of Street Fighter. I mean, he's just his upper body is massive. He skips leg day, but and he
He's
puts
going
it
to be
all in his
punching
arms.
boulders.
Exactly. It's weird how they've come up with some of their designs. I mean, Ken he's 90% chest muscle, 110% hair. It's just weird. But that's not, that's a personal thing. That's the only things that really bother me is some of the character designs are a little much, in some ways. It's, I kind of like the older designs, but that is an opinion thing. So, I mean, Cammy is still a hottie. She's still designed a hottie, and so is E Honda. Just to make sure I cover the bases. But and then Dalsim has always been the extremely tall, lanky strip of muscle, and now he actually looks physically more normal than the other characters. So it's just kind of a weird thing. But that doesn't just distract for what this game is. A great fighting game. Some characters like Marissa, my God, she looks like the Juggernaut from X-Men. But with boobs. Juggernaut Mayhem. I don't know. It's just some of the design choices are weird for me. Because Marissa, from what I can tell, is the biggest character in the game. She is massive. I mean, her height, her just proportions, size, she's just huge. Nothing wrong with it, but it just, some of these character choices. Guile, of course, his hair still doesn't, work to reality or gravity. It just does its thing. So, but that's my only nitpicky stuff about it. Controls work so smooth. I have to use the modern control scheme because I suck at some of the combos in Street Fighter. Always have like a down forward X combo. I couldn't do it in the training. I kept trying. I kept foobarring it, and then I accidentally did it once in the story mode or something. I was like, oh my God, I finally did it. It doesn't count for what I was trying to do, but still. But everything is enjoyable. Controls are so tight. Oh my God, the controls work so well in this thing. The characters, you feel the difference in every character. I mean, you really feel that. Me and Nick were talking about one character. I was like, yeah, when you play her, you really got to be more up close. I mean, you just have to. That's just her move set. Every character always feels unique in Street Fighter, and this one's no exception. Some of the newer characters are fine. Some of them are really cool. I don't care for Luke, but that's just me. I do. I can't wait to see some of the characters they release as the game progresses. So they're going to bring back classics. Hopefully, Balrog and them. Maybe they'll bring in some other characters. From Capcom universe like Jill and Claire from Resident Evil or something. I don't know. But overall, this game is, for a fighting fan, this game is fantastic. I couldn't enjoy it really anymore. Every mode in here that I've played has been fun in its own way. The arcade, not the arcade mode, the one where you're going around town. I can't remember the name of that one, Nick. What was that one again?
That was the World Tour.
Yeah. So I didn't know what to think of it at first, but the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it. You can pretty much fight anybody you walk across, and there's a lot of NPCs. They've done that really well. The city, and then you will travel to other areas. Now they're not as large or as dense as the starting city you're in, but it is really cool to see these different areas too. So. I enjoy everything about this. I played online some, got violated online each time. So it just goes to show you, I enjoy the game, but I'm not great at it, but I really, really enjoy this game. So, if I was to change one thing about this game though, I think the roster should be a little bigger. Instead of releasing some of these characters, later on down the road. I just feel like the roster is too thin for a game that's on its sixth iteration of the franchise when they have released so many characters. You know, they've had countless characters in these games. I think they're at 12 on the, or 12 or 16 or 15, something like that. Just to me, it just seems like they need more of the original characters in it. But, you know, I understand what they've done here because they really wanted to focus a little bit more on some of the new characters, which they all fighting games seem to do. You know, we're going to hold off this guy so we can introduce this one. We'll bring this guy back later. So, but that'd be the only thing I would have really, you know, really liked to have seen is just more characters. So, but I think overall, me and Nick are enjoying it, and we haven't got to fight yet because we haven't had time. So after this, I am going to Dalsim his Zangief, if you know what I mean.
Right? There's 18 in the roster.
Is it 18? See,
it just seems characters.
It just seems thin.
Seems that way, but I mean that's a pretty good amount. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they have a lot of characters to choose from. I mean, there's a lot of characters in Street Fighter 6 that are new, and a lot of characters that are not returning. Right? At least not now. Yeah. They could be returning as DLC, but you know, they have a huge list of characters that they could pull from.
Yep. So, and just, you know, I just wanted to, I would just like to see more. Maybe just because I'd like to see, you know, you know, growing up on it, you know, there's just certain characters that register with this game. And I was like, where's Bison at? I mean, I know the Shadow Low or Shadow, whatever they call the, crime syndicate he's in. You know, I know that's supposed to be destroyed and all that stuff. So that's why, you know, Bison isn't, you know, a starting character, but you know, it's just characters like that I like seeing. The you know, anorexic Wolverine from Spain, whatever his name was, I can't remember. Vega, yeah, you know, I'd like to see him in there. I loved fighting with Vega. I got my butt kicked, you know, online, but I did really well in the single player. So, but yeah, that's just things I'd like to see.
Yeah. How about you? I don't know who I'd like to see. I mean, the roster's pretty good. I can't think of like off the top of my head a character. I mean, there are characters that are not here, but I just can't think of one. Besides, the only one I could think of was Vega, which you mentioned. I don't know why. Because even when I was playing the game, I was like, well, that's weird that Vega's not in here. But I don't think he's been in a lot of them, you know, for a while. So I'm sure he's been in some other ones. I don't know. I'm sure there's more diehard Street Fighter guys out there. I would like to see Capcom make one of the, you know, like one of the Street Fighter alphas that they used to back in the day, you know, with the more hand-drawn cartoon looking character, kind of like Guilty Gear and stuff like that. It would be awesome to have like a Street Fighter that was more in line with like what Guilty Gear does, where there's like they have the whole hand-drawn characters and the hand-drawn like stages and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool to have like Street Fighter with that, or for them to do like a Street Fighter versus Capcom again or something like that. But going back to not what they did with Street Fighter versus Capcom 3, but what they, you know, back in 2 and 1 where they had the more like cartoonish looking and not the whole like just 3D animated. But I agree with you with the characters in this game. They are built weirdly. You know, Capcom's been doing that. They did it with 5 as well with their character models. And they continued that trend with 6. I think it is a little weird, a little exaggerated with some of the characters, some quite a bit exaggerated. But, you know, it is what it is. But you're exactly right, Shane. When it comes down to it, you know, the fundamental is it a good fighting game? Does it work together? And it does. You know, the fighting mechanics and everything work really well. They did a really good job of making sure that worked good. You know, that's the basis of, that's the foundation of the game, right? It's a fighting game through and through. So the fighting has to be good. If you know, they could have all the modes in the world, but if the fighting sucks, then no one's going to play it. So luckily, in their case, the fighting's good. And recently it's been really good for fighting fans out there. You know, like I said, we had Guilty Gear that came out last year, I think it was. Just came out to Xbox Game Pass not too long ago, or maybe it was the year before last. I can't remember. I have it, but I just can't remember when it came out. You know, we have Mortal Kombat 1 to look forward to later on this year. And we got Street Fighter 6, and then there was another fighting game that I can't think of that came out not too long ago that did really well as well. So
Blaze Blue didn't. I believe they just came out with a new one as well.
Did they?
I
don't remember hearing anything about Blaze Blue coming out.
And I believe it was on Game Pass for Xbox. So don't quote me, but because I know I've got it downloaded, and I'm pretty positive.
Oh yeah. That's not new, but yes.
Well, it was
new to
released
Xbox
this year. Yeah,
it's new to Xbox. So. Right. I think it was on PlayStation for a while, but yes, Cross Battle. It's got a bunch of different characters from different games besides Blaze Blue.
Yes,
it's got like a bunch of anime like RB. What is that? RBYX or whatever. Yeah, there you go. Those characters, and then some other ones from other, I think Persona characters in there and stuff like that. So.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, those. Yeah, I've played it a bit. But yeah, those games, this year or a couple years here, there's been a lot of fighting games that have come out that have done really well, and this is the newest iteration of a new fighting game. So like fighting games seem to be back in full swing, as it were. And this is the latest iteration of Street Fighter 6, which did really well. I didn't know how I was going to do because I think 5 did pretty well, but it wasn't. I'm not sure if it was a great hit for Capcom, and that might be just because of the exclusivity. I'm not sure. But Street Fighter 6 seems to have done really well for Capcom. Capcom currently is on a roll with things. So, keep that, train going. And you did really good with Street Fighter 6. I think it's a great game. It's definitely, if you're a fighting fan, if you're a fan of Street Fighter, I think it's definitely worth picking up if you haven't already. If you're on the fence, will I play it? Will I like it? If you like Street Fighter, or if you just like fighting games in general, I think Street Fighter 6 is a good addition to your fighting roster. So I would definitely pick it up and play it because I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I would, for Waynes, I would like to see DOA do something like this. Fighting mechanics of DOA have always been solid, even with the original creator gone on the last 3, I think it's been. But I would like to see DOA take this route, focus a little less on the boobies and the cosmetics and, skimpy outfits. Don't get me wrong. I like those things to a point, but it goes when it subtracts from the game itself. It's a pointless effort, if they're going to do that, give me beach volleyball again. But I would like to see DOA do something like that, expand the story of each character, do an actual story mode, of some sort, period, would be awesome. Because DOA, like I said, it's my bread and butter. I mean, I play with, bass, and that's it. So, I mean, because all I like to do is counter and grapple. That's my thing. Ask Nick. I've broke his leg a few times. But this game is fantastic overall. It's worth the money, period, because you have a ton of content to play through right now. So, I mean, right out of the box, you have a butt ton of content. You have lots of time to put into it, and that's what makes a good game great. A great game can only be good if it's very short, but a good game can be great if you got plenty of time to play. So. But you got anything else, buddy?
No, I'm just, like I said, we got Mortal Kombat 1 to look forward to, and I forgot we got also Tekken 8 to look forward to as well, because that comes out this year, I believe. So we got 2 more fighting games, and hopefully they, do just as good as or better than Street Fighter. Street Fighter is good. It's great. I think it's worth it. Can Tekken and Mortal Kombat, outshine them? We'll see.
Mortal Kombat, probably tight. Tekken, it's lost its luster over the last several iterations, but it's still a fantastic fighting game. So maybe, Mortal Kombat has done an excellent job with their story modes. So I think we need to see more of that with games like DOA and Tekken. I think they just need to have more, because you can't just fight towers and towers of people over and over and over again. You need to have a little more juice to that content. So, but we're going to have to wait and see then. All right. Well, before we get out of here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications. Please do that. And most importantly, though, response. Give us your feedback. What do you think of Street Fighter 6? What do you think of the series? What do you think of the characters? Do you think the one lady looks like Juggernaut from X-Men? Because I sure in hell do. What do you think about fighting games? Which ones are you most looking forward to play? What's your favorite? Just tell us your thoughts and opinions. But until next time, we will see you.